Once the two entered Jungkook's penthouse, Wine quietly followed him inside. He took off his coat and placed it over the couch, turning towards her. Jungkook, coffee? Wine, that's really fine. You should rest. Jungkook, I'm in need of one though, he said as he started moving towards the kitchen. Wine, let me make it. She followed him. Please. Jungkook stepped back, letting her take his place. Something about her in his home was doing something to his cold heart. As confused as she looked, searching for the ingredients, he only found her adorable, and he knew there was something wrong with him because Jungkook never found anyone or anything adorable. He helped her find the ingredients and stood with his arms crossed. Wine, that's very rude, staring at someone, she said as she pointed the spoon at him as if it was a weapon. Jungkook, great threat. By the way, miss, I was not staring at you. I simply want my coffee to be according to my taste. Her cheeks turned pink due to embarrassment and she went back to her work. Once the coffee was done, the two took a seat and had the coffee in silence. She stared at the lit up buildings visible from the glass and he couldn't take his eyes off her. He, however, made sure that won't make her uncomfortable. Why couldn't you return home? He asked, and Wine hesitated. He could tell by the way the tip of her finger started fiddling with the mug in her hand. Wine, my fiancé kicked me out. She didn't know why she was telling him that, but she needed to take it out. Jungkook's eyes only darkened up hearing that, but he could only smirk in victory, knowing her fiancé already dug a seed. He just needed to water it. Wine, it's like an arranged engagement. I moved in with him a week ago, and this is what happened. I couldn't think of what to tell my parents, appearing there at midnight. I don't want to include them in our fights. She shrugged and sipped her coffee. Jungkook, and you want to stay engaged to that freak who threw you out before a week ended? She got quiet, and that brought a whole nother level of satisfaction to him. Jungkook stood up and shown her the room, and once the two left the rooms, an hour passed by when Jungkook decided to go for his workout. It had been late already. He didn't have time to sleep. But once he got out of the room, he found Vian sitting on the chair in the dining room and sleeping with her head over the table. He forgot why he was there at first place as he took a seat on the chair next to her and watched her sleeping quietly, his fingers removing the bangs of her face with gentle strokes and eyes taking in her every detail. Jungkook, I'm going to make you mine, he whispered, but Vian woke up. Jungkook didn't bother pulling his hand back. Jungkook, why are you sleeping here? Vian, the room is scary. Jungkook, I'm sure there's no paranormal stories about my home. Vian, the walls are dark and it's my first time here. It takes me time to adjust. I had the fairy lights in my room back at my home. She rubbed her eyes. I didn't have them in Roman's room, but at least he was there. Jungkook pushed his chair back and stood up. Let me accompany you then, till you sleep. Vian, I don't want to bother you, that's fine. Jungkook simply walked to her room and she followed him. She wondered if he said something wrong. She lay down on one side of the bed, pulling sheets up till her chest, as Jungkook sat down on opposite side. She was tired, spending the whole night on chair, first in office, then here. She slept immediately, but when she woke up, she found herself hugging something she didn't remember keeping with herself before sleeping. Jungkook, you're awake. She opened her eyes and found herself hugging her boss's torso while he was still in a sitting position, looking as fresh as ever using his cell phone. Surprisingly, she found that position so good she didn't want to pull back, and so she stayed there without a second thought. closed her eyes again. Wine, not yet. I'm still sleepy. Jungkook put his cell away and looked down at her with his head tilted sideways. Jungkook, we have work to do. Wine, I'm taking a day off for personal health problems. She teased, but her bedclothes stuck in her throat when Jungkook slipped down beside her and his arm suddenly went towards her waist, pulling her to his chest. Jungkook, you're forgetting who I am. Wine, that's not how it works. She couldn't speak well because of his touch doing wonders to her. If I was home and sent the application, it would get accepted anyways. Jungkook, then shall I personally check your applications myself from now on? Wine, that's not fair. Jungkook, or you might stay here and take as many days off as you'd like. Wine gulped when he inched close to her. Wine, what do you mean by that? Jungkook, I'm simply making myself clear here. I want you, and I'm going to make you mine. So don't push me away, and let me show you how you deserve to live like a queen, and not someone who's thrown out like trash. He grunted, and her breath got stuck in her throat, his words slowly settling in her brain one by one. Jungkook slowly slid his fingers against her soft ones and held the ring that he wanted to burn so badly. Jungkook, I'm sure you won't ever want to go back to that so-called ex-fiancé of yours. Fine, sir, I don't. Jungkook, it's Jungkook for you. Fine. Jungkook, it's too sudden. I don't know what even happened. Jungkook, no one is hurrying, princess. As long as you know, I'm not letting any other man touch you anymore. Jungkook told her she could take a day off and sort her problems with fiancé and family. She was glad, but she couldn't stop thinking about his words. She decided to meet Rowan first to clear out things with him so she had a proper answer to give to her parents, but sitting across him felt like the worst decision ever. He repeated the same words like he did before, apologizing and saying this won't repeat. The difference was he didn't look sorry at all. She wondered if he was going to keep up with his behavior only to apologize at the end always. Ryan, we got in this because of our parents. We don't have feelings for each other. The only emotion we shared was of respect, and you took that away too. Rowan, I'm apologizing, Ryan. What else am I supposed to do? There was a moment of silence. She could tell he wanted her to be with him. At the same time, he was getting irritated. She grabbed her purse and stood up. Ryan, I will come back to take my stuff. Rowan, wait, where are you going? Ryan, home, Rowan. I don't think I can keep up with this. He grabbed her wrist and pulled her towards him. What do you mean by you are going home? We are supposed to stay together. Wait, where is your ring? Ryan, I took it off. Leave my hand right now, Rowan. What the hell are you talking about? He yelled, and his grip got a little tight against her wrist. Ryan, let me go, Rowan. You're hurting me. Rowan, do you hear yourself? You're ending us. Ryan, yes, I am. It's better to end this now than to suffer anymore. Rowan, you're not going anywhere. He grit his teeth and started to drag her towards his room. She tried to free her wrist, but he was strong. He pushed her inside the room and locked the door from outside. Rowan was never like this, or was she always wrong about him? It took her some time to digest the situation. She was glad she left her phone here last night. She found it on the couch and decided to call the police or her parents. But her fingers stopped dialing the number when she remembered Jungkook. Something switched in her when she suddenly desired his protection. His warmth, When she woke up beside him and he kept her in his arms, stayed awake whole night for her and made her breakfast. Let me show you how you deserve to live like a queen and not someone who is thrown out like trash. She dialed his number and without a second beep, as if he already got her number through the company, he picked up the call. One. Jungkook, her breath wavered. She was trying to act strong, but all of this was having an effect on her. I don't know what's wrong with Rowan. He locked me in. Please take me out of here. Jungkook. 7 minutes. Do you think you can keep him away for 7 minutes? One. Yes. Jungkook. Good. I'll be there. He hung up and Wine tried taking deep breaths, hoping nothing will go wrong for the next 7 minutes. She wanted to believe Jungkook. Not a second over, once the 7 minutes were done, the doorbell rang. Ron went to attend it and held the door open. He found a man dressed in a suit twice his size. Rowan, how may I help you? Jungkook, you have something I want. He gripped Rowan's neck, pressing his fingertips against the pressure points, drawing the man out of his breath. As he started marching inside, Rowan tried to set free, but he couldn't. Rowan, the hell! Let me go! Jungkook didn't budge no matter how the other one tried. He simply took out his cell and called Ryan. Which room is it? Once Ryan told him, he threw Rowan away like trash, letting him catch his breath, and casually stepped towards Ryan's room. Ryan stepped out as soon as the door was opened. Jungkook wrapped his arm around her waist, pulling her towards him, inspecting any injury. None, other than the grip marks around her wrist. Rowan, that's why you wanted out, because you were busy whoring around with someone else. Jungkook turned around, the temperature in his eyes falling 100 degrees as he stepped towards Rowan. Jungkook, careful there. I don't take insults of my lady. Rowan, your lady? She's my fiancée, and I want you out of my home right now, and I won't call the police on you. Jungkook chuckled. You have committed a sin, and I'm not very much of a forgiving personality. He gripped Rowan's hair and slammed his face down against the table, his thumb slowly inching towards his eyeball and digging in, increasing pressure every second. And Rowan screamed, afraid he might lose his eye. Wine instantly started to drag Jungkook out, not wanting any violence. Jungkook drove her away from there, got her a coffee from drive-thru to help her calm down and understand the situation better. Wine, how serious are you about us? Jungkook, more than my existence. Wine, I thought he was serious too. Jungkook, I don't want to face anything again. I never fell for Rowan, but I think. She looked down and held the empty cup tighter for a little sport. Wine, I think I'm going to fall for you so bad if I give you a chance, and I'm scared of that. Jungkook, then give me the chance and let me take you to the paradise devoid of fears. She looked at him, his eyes that looked so sincere. His each word had an effect on her, piercing through her heart and healed a part of her. Jungkook, come here. He held his arm out, mine did, slowly, but she let herself fall loose in his protective embrace. Jungkook played with her hair, eyes down on her, resting against his chest, her confused, innocent eyes shifting between his hands and his face. He wanted to kiss away her all confusions, and he did. Starting from her forehead down to her cheeks and jaw, he admitted how she took in his affection. So when he stopped against her lips and their eyes met, he knew he had already dropped her insecurities to a much lower level. When she allowed, he kissed her. He kissed her with such dominance, but held her with such immense care. She melted right away in those lips that played against hers, her heart that sang to its own symphony, and she slowly shifted to his lap. Once the two pulled back, she panted heavily, resting her head against his shoulder and her little fist hitting his chest. Wine, don't break my heart. I will shoot you. Jungkook, never, princess. Now that you're mine, you're under my protection. No one hurts you, including me. She smiled and really wished for it to be true. What Jungkook made her feel within a day, no one could ever throughout her whole life. She found peace in him and he always kept his words.